Well, Jake, the news never stops, and our strategy pays off to let's leave a lot of room in the schedule, and then on a very short notice, randomly loop in one of our favorite guests of all time, Lori Garver, who's got an excellent new background. How you doing?
Yeah, look at this. Fantastic.
A lot of times people don't have good backgrounds, but this is a good background game. You got a book signing thing. What is the one in the bottom right of your frame? What do you got?
Okay, so yeah, that's my book cover from Launch Party. Everybody signing it who's there. Flown flags on shuttles. I've got so many of those. Some of them are on eBay. I've had people write me, Lori Garver, I think someone stole your flown flag because I bought it on eBay and I can send it to you. It's like, no, that's fine. Sorry.
That's me.
Sorry, dismissive. The pin montages are one that it's every shuttle pin, and then one is every space station expedition pin through the time that I was deputy.
Wow.
But I was saying, I mean, yeah, those government jobs, especially NASA, the pay isn't outstanding, but the
pins are great.
Gifts are, I've got hold down bolts from the STS-134 mission on the shuttle that are bookends, stuff like that.
That's a great
cool
piece of swag. Yeah.
That's a great book.
I'm gonna check eBay for those in a couple years.
Yeah. Are you the one that's selling all the flight jackets on eBay? Is that you? Is that what your secret identity is?
Never had one. Never had one, and I've been thinking I should just buy one because maybe if I just reserved a suborbital flight, I could walk around in one.
Yeah, you could. I bet. Oh, we lost you there, Anthony. Or is that me? Am I gone?
We aren't hearing Anthony.
Oh.
How about now?
It's not me.
Okay.
Usually it's me.
It was me, apparently.
All right.
I don't know. We're back.
We got it.
Yeah.
We're back.
Oh, boy. What do you got? Would you bring a fun drink, Lori?
Yes. So say you were not a captain on a ship at sea, but the first mate, and the captain was not all you'd hoped for, and you went through some really trying seas for years and years out in the desert, what would you be? A salty dog. I'm going to be a salty dog today.
Such
a little on the nose.
Definitely not an analogy in any way. Amazing.
Salty dog. Okay. Wow.
What about you?
What is a salty dog, though? What's in that?
Oh, grapefruit juice and vodka with salt on the rim.
All right. Okay.
Sounds like your kind of thing, honestly, Jake.
It's also lovely and very refreshing. Because it's very hot here in Denver. It's March and it's 86 or something.
Well, baseball season's upon us.
Sounds warm.
It's a lot, Jake. It's a lot. Yeah. What you got? You got something? You got another mead for us, Jake?
No, I picked this up at a gift shop. I had some friends visiting this week and we went to all the touristy stuff. But this is passion fruit liqueur, maracuya. So I found this and I was like, I love passion fruit. And so I was like, what can I make with this? And I asked ChatGPT to give me a cocktail recipe. And it was like, don't overthink this, man. Just make a margarita and use that for the thing. So that's what we got. Passion fruit margarita.
Nice. Did it actually say, don't overthink this, man? Probably.
It kind of implied it because the other one they gave me was a rum punch. I'm like, that's not, I don't need your help for that.
Not your thing.
No.
We often try to have like thematic drinks on the show, right? With salty dog. Jake will have like meads kitschily named after Jupiter moons or something. And so there's a lot of news this week out of DC, big NASA event. And we've been on the search for Jared Isaacman's problematic trait, right? Because he's getting all the good press all the time. And we're like, how could he be a nice guy and not get the billionaire flack? And we finally found it as he rolled out the name of this event, Ignition. That man is an R. Kelly fan. He's still kicking it with R. Kelly. So I said, I'm going to be sipping on some Coke and rum in honor of Jared Isaacman's favorite song, Ignition, remix, obviously, by R. Kelly. So I
Well
went
done.
with some Coke and rum. It's the freaking weekend. I'm going to have me some fun. I don't know if either of you get this reference. It's someone out there
Yes,
will.
yes.
Okay.
Good.
Not enough, but I get it.
It's in there. You can throw it on
Yeah.
later. Maybe he's just really good
Yeah.
at separating art from artist. I don't know.
Maybe he might be.
It's good at a lot of things.
Turns out.
Turns out.
This is a crazy, like, there was so much news this week, and yet a lot of it had been presaged for like, a month. It's felt like a longer rollout, yet a more stark announcement in that one day, which is kind of a weird balance, that some of this we heard about and then all of it happening at the same time in a very long day.
Before I think people were saying, what else is there to say? He said all these things, and then it's like, oh my gosh, it's a 9-hour thing, and then there's a day, and turns out there's a lot to say.
Yeah.
Where do we
Yeah.
begin?
This press conference really snuck up on me because it's like, oh, I got, whatever email, and I just kind of like scan it. It's like, oh, well, at 9:00 tomorrow, we're going to talk, have a press conference. I'm like, oh, cool. I'll tune that in and, I'll have my coffee or something. And then it's like, oh no, this is all day. And I don't have time to watch all this. I've got to like go to work and stuff. What do I do? So I was like scrambling this week to try and like
I
read
got
all
to
the
walk in
articles.
the dog. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like a marathon. He really went for it. So that's pretty good.
Great production value. They had a lot of good prepared videos. I'm amazed at the amount of content that was produced for the event. So hat tip to whoever those people are, because they're probably a good chance they listen to this show, if that's our demographic of like people who make media and tech things for NASA.
Yeah.
That was
Hopefully
impressive.
Yeah, it was good.
Especially
You put everybody to work.
The content that, yes, there was some announced previously, but it was kept on the DL, and clearly a lot of people involved, and having been in that position, knowing what NASA reacts to, at least in my time, boy, that's a heavy lift on its own. It was great.
Yeah. So we were talking just in the pre-show about 2 weeks ago. Anthony and I had the conversation because I was following the authorization bill and the kind of the earlier changes to SLS that was announced. And Anthony and I we felt far apart on that episode. I don't think we actually were, but it sounded and felt like we were far apart on those things. And then Laura, you're saying that you came somewhere in the middle. So I'm really excited to kind of like unpack that. And I have like, I don't know, kind of a framework for how we can talk about this. And I want to see what you guys think about this. So I'm kind of looking at these changes, and I've got 5 buckets of topics. So I've got the gateway cancellation. We've got clips, ramping up. I'm putting that kind of in its own little bucket because I feel like that's got its own weight. We've got this nuclear Mars mission. We've got
Freedom
changes. We've got changes to commercial stations, which is pretty big, and then SLS. So
changes to and a verbal admonishment of commercial stations, I should say.
Yes,
that was brutal.
Pretty tough words for commercial stations.
Yeah,
a lot of verbal admonishing going on.
Yeah.
So what I thought we would do is, because I'm trying to think of why Anthony and I were apart, and I think it's because we had different rubrics on what we were grading these on. And so I was thinking about looking at these from 3 perspectives, and I want to kind of go through them, and then we can all like score it. That's my plan on this, on what you think it achieves in this rubric.
We've assembled a panel.
Yeah. So here's the rubric. Okay, so one, I'm passionate about this one being on here, is leadership. So like how much does this decision, like embody the virtue of leadership?
Okay.
Is it bold? Is it brave? Right. One is quality. So this is like putting aside the execution. Assume it all goes through exactly as planned. Is it a good plan? Like, is it actually something that we want? And then the third thing is feasibility, which is where the rubber hits the road, right? Like, is it actually something that is achievable? So that's my 3 kind of like rubrics that I was thinking about. And I think that's why Anthony and I were apart, because we were looking at different ones. But
yeah, I was W out here with the Mission Accomplished
anything?
banner. It rolled out behind me. I'm like, we did it, folks. We already did it.
Yeah. I was laughing that it was kind of like you were excited because you got Christmas presents, and I was sad because I was not going to get Christmas presents next year.
Or that you couldn't play with them for at least 5 years.
Yeah. And then they were going to get returned, but that's how it goes. But okay, that's my plan. So I don't know which one you want to start with. Which, Laura, you pick. What's of the 5 topics?
I love a matrix strategy for our discussion like that. Moon-based doesn't seem to be in there. I would have just
Well, that's Gateway. But put that under Gateway.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Jake's just downplaying it. It's Gateway canceled, but it's actually a reformatted Gateway program.
And I
Jake.
think
Now it's Moon-based.
feasibility needs at least a layer under there for schedule, because a lot of this I think is very feasible, but not on the schedule that they've provided. But I think that's part of, and this is what I think Anthony really nailed on your discussion, where I do feel like I was between you two. You were each convincing me that maybe baked into that schedule is some strategic value. So that's good.
Yeah.
Meaning, like,
right.
I think my thing was, it is a forcing mechanism.
If you don't think they can do it, then that'll take you down a different path.
Jared Isaacman's, as an overarching thing, I want to reiterate this. His superpower is being able to have people go up and stand in front of a podium and say a true thing that has been evidently true from the outside for so long, and yet they've been unwilling to say it. And that's both ways, right? Like, everybody's saying we can hit these schedules for so long.
But say it and be revered for saying it, and saying it in a way that is exciting, probably even to people who a little bit, well, yeah, okay, we fucked that up a bit, but you're right. Let's go forward.
Yeah.
I think that's a really valuable thing, because there were so many times I was ready. Like, we had documents. Charlie, you need to say the problems with Constellation. You need to acknowledge, I couldn't do that to the workforce. That would just be so sad. It's like, well, why are we canceling it then? We aren't giving any reason, So for me, this is cathartic. This is, envy of this leadership at NASA, wishing we had it any of the last X number of administrators ago. It's really, I want to say this because I'm going to have, quips, but they're really, it is, overall, as a leader, as an exercise you guys have discussed many times, does the NASA administrator matter?
I think it was the first question we asked you.
They could. Maybe they just haven't used their power. You got somebody
You're right as hell
who's leaning into their power, which I told you was always possible.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Perfect place to start Jake's crazy rubric. Let's go. You're the showman, Jake. Pick an order for us.
All right. Well, I mean, yeah, let's do Gateway / Moonbase. So just as a quick summary. So Gateway is, quote, paused and possibly repurposed at a later date, but vaguely not quite canceled. I don't know how the terminology was funny on it, but they're essentially canceling it. We've got PPE going to the Mars thing, 100%.
Not even the scale Jake wants out of us, but I love that it's 100%.
I don't know the scale.
Yeah, he didn't even tell us the scale.
I don't know. Whatever you want.
Should give us 100 across all the boards? All boards? 100% all boards?
I'm going to tell you, as I love to spill the tea, that the transition team going into the Biden administration, I was not part of it. They talked to me several times, and they were hand-wringing, very, very serious people looking into Artemis. Seeing that we can't deliver on all this, they said, we can't do a lander and Gateway. Which should we cancel? I'm like, Gateway. How many chances do we get? And they said, but what about our international agreements? Hand wringing. This is part of it. Choices must be made. And unfortunately, the way that went down with the White House getting the question at the press conference from Kristen Fisher and so forth, I was forwarding, yes, here's the answer. She said she'll get back to you, outline why, if you can't say Gateway yet is going to be canceled in favor of on-surface activities, then at least say it doesn't line up. It doesn't make, and Bill Nelson got a hold of it, and
Unwilling.
here we are, how many billions later. So this is long awaited for, I'm sure we all agree.
Yeah.
I'm 100% if that's the scale, Jake. What are we
100%?
doing on the scale?
But give me your breakdown though. So all three scales, you're 100%. You're all in.
Leadership, quality, and feasibility.
That's what it needed. It needed leadership, and maybe an administration that really is willing to say to international partners, our way or the highway. Quality, I don't know how that really plays here, except that it didn't make sense and now it does, so that's quality. And then so feasibility, PPE, going freedom, nuclear, electric, with Mars helicopters. Well, we can rate that separately. Was that wasn't even on
that's
your
another
list,
one.
but...
No, it's another one. He's got it. That's item 3 or something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think it's very feasible, especially since, as you guys have covered very well, he's got at least the Senate on board.
Yep.
And, here again, I will say just that brilliant leadership. So this could go under that. We don't know. I will await Jared's book in, 50 years. He's so young. And to hear how that went down. Was there what I recommended? And again, working for a president that sort of gives you a wider berth on this, just call it and say, oh my goodness, this is how bad and dumb this is for the nation. Do you want to be tied to this, Senator so-and-so? I just feel like transparency helps in so many ways. And as soon as he had, because we're not covering Starship here, but I haven't been on it since that was really that broke the third wall of, we don't talk about things that NASA doesn't do well. And once he went there and visibly was personally angered by what he learned, I don't know if it's true or not that he didn't know how bad things were before then, but it was very effective.
That was the moment. Starliner you're talking about.
Starliner.
Stars. That was the moment that.
Did I say Stars?
Yeah, I mean they're kind of both in a bad spot at the moment, but we'll leave the one. Let's do the one really bad one. The Starliner press conference was that first moment where it was visible that he was doing things differently and going out and actually just talking plainly and straight up. And I don't know if it was planned that was like the week before the Artemis call, but that felt like the first moment where it was like, we're going to do like truth and reconciliation for a month of like, yeah, none of these plans were ever feasible and we couldn't say it. The end of the press conference yesterday when Amit said we couldn't talk about these things because of our constraints was fucking unbelievable to me. Like, I was I stopped in my tracks that he said this out loud, was that we knew this for a long time and we couldn't say it because of our constraints. Now, Jared's point is those are self-imposed constraints. I guess Amit's point would have been it was congressional constraints or something. But the fact that that they so openly said the thing that we identify, which is, Jared's making everybody go out and say the truth. It's like, it's just a mind-blowing sentence that I'm going to probably print out and hang on my wall.
It was a real moment for me too. We didn't have anything like that. Charlie would never have said, you can't say X or Y. It was opposite,
Yeah.
Say what you want.
It was like the unified front thing.
We can do SLS in 3 years for $3 billion. Woohoo! But that is clearly an indictment of the previous leadership.
I mean, they have not shied away from saying the previous administration a bunch of times. So.
Will there be things that people want to say now that they can't say? Sure. There's always going to be that.
To your point about the schedule, right? This is really easy to go out. If you're emboldened to go say the truth, it's really easy to go out and say, these things made no sense and we're correcting the wrongs of the last 10 years. But when it's your schedule in 2 years that hasn't flown these things, how well are they going to be doing with the truth telling at that moment? That's going to be the true make or break thing for them.
I called it magical thinking, and he came back at me. With all due respect.
Starting the Twitter wars out there.
Yeah.
It
You move out of
wasn't. We were
DC,
both
but you could
very
still kick up some dust in the DC
we were
circuit.
both very respectful, and a couple people commented how nice that you can have leaders on other political spectrums having this substantive discussion
Almost like
when
you
it comes
both
to.
legitimately care about developing space more than just
Yeah,
getting a partisan
yeah,
win for your side.
yeah. I know he does, and that's why I just want to be super clear that the leadership is stunning in a positive way. But what are you guys? You're supposed to
Yeah,
play
what's your
too.
grade, Jake? Give me and do your scale, Jake, that you wanted to. You never told us what the scale was. Now it's
Yeah,
percentages.
if it's a
So
10, is it a 5? What's top?
Five's easy, I guess, to reason about, but I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It's just give you your vibes. But no, I'm obviously into this one. I think that well, I would knock 1 point off of leadership only because Gateway kind of canceled itself. It was like a pretty obvious target in some ways. Like, I mean, as soon as Russia invaded Ukraine and was not going to be part of the IGA, it was kind of like, what are we doing this for? Like, this is obviously supposed to be like
which one of
the
us from
redirect
Canada?
focus.
Jesus Christ! This is like you're
like-
a complete heretic. You're never going to be allowed back in the country.
No, because we got the Artemis Accords. The IGA was
No,
for
you got
Russia.
you got a seat on Artemis 2 is what you got. That's what you got.
Yeah. Everything's fine.
All right, you're fine.
So,
The payoff of
But, like-
everyone's saying, what are we going to do with our arm? It's like, who cares? Jeremy Hansen's flying around the moon pretty soon. Is that your point?
well, I mean, that really worked out for us that you had to pay us before we paid you, and
Yeah.
we're fine with that.
You
but-
owe us one.
No, but like as soon as Russia invaded Ukraine and they were not going to be part of the IGA, it was like, well, this is kind of a silly thing because the Artemis Accords is like replacing it, and Russia's the only difference, and they're not part of it. And then there's like like super stuff happened. And it was like, oh man. And then like Dragon XL, was not real. It was very obvious that this was not going anywhere. So I'm glad they did it, but yeah, I'd take 1 point off of that.
You are so unfair to the fact
Dude,
that
4 to 5 is a great leadership score.
no, this
Great
1
leadership.
point is bullshit. This is a bullshit 1 point. Gateway got $10 billion pretty much 8 months
And
ago.
no one else has even been willing to say anything negative about it in the leadership of NASA for how many years?
That's why he gets
But,
4 and
yeah.
5 points.
Jake,
man.
you
That's
have
an
to
honor
take-
student. That's an honor student.
Man, this is the maddest that me and Lori have ever been at you in this whole show, especially because so many of the things that they said about Gateway, you could probably have copy and pasted sentences we've said on this show about Gateway and put it in that press conference, and it would have been the exact same content. Like, they're doing the thing that we've been
Maybe
bitching
he's
about
trying
for
to leave
years.
himself room for something else being
All right,
even
all right.
better.
Fine. I'll tone it down.
Yeah,
My blood pressure's
you got
high
it
right now.
You definitely got it. You definitely got it. Quality, great. Yeah, get rid of it. Feasibility feels pretty feasible. All of a sudden, everybody wants a moon base, so rock and roll.
And that's the part he said openly too, which has been my line of thinking was, given the choice, no one would pick orbiting the moon. Everybody will figure out what to do on the surface. It just was easier before when you could say, I don't know, we'll build an airlock or something. And now it's like, I don't know, we'll lay a habitat down on the side. Like, you want a pressure vessel? We'll build one, and we'll just put it on the surface instead of in orbit. Or, JAXA was always planning a rover. They were on it. JAXA was on it way before anyone. They're like, we'll just start working on a rover, and whatever that means in their system. And we'll talk up the fact that we're going to do a pressurized rover for 10 years, and then eventually everyone will come around to being on the surface, and we'll be lined up perfectly for this. So credit to
And to
JAXA.
be fair, this evolved only as a place that SLS and Orang could go to when it couldn't go to the surface. So if you look at the winding path to get us here, and I was there at the time, and I remember where I was sitting when Gerst and Suff first brought this idea to me individually. Charlie wasn't even in the room, so I was just like laughing. I was like, no one cares about that. No. And like, well, it's a good step because astronauts are used to only being so far away. We need to spend time being farther away. I'm like,
Every astronaut would be
no.
so mad. They would be so mad if they're just sitting on the space station.
They did it. I mean, that was Gerst and Suff. That is what it's just, there's so many of these things that are ironic, but it didn't come about because astronauts wanted to be farther away from in
Yeah.
space. They want to walk on the
Not a
moon,
good enough reason.
um,
Yeah.
and then Mars. I don't happen to believe space policy should be driven by what astronauts want to do. That's maybe another whole show. But yes, this is what they want to do.
Right.
I mean, right now we
And so
have
it was
both an
always-
astronaut
it
and
was
a
always
head of
a thought.
NASA. So,
What?
I mean, the head of NASA is an astronaut, not in the way that yours
Well,
was.
not a NASA astronaut.
Yeah.
They have, but I love that everyone's,
Quick
embracing
side jack
it.
to your
Yeah.
SLS comment too, though, real quick, because they subtly floated the cancellation and obviating of SLS completely under the radar when they said, "Hey, we might not use the ICPS for Artemis 3. We might save that for Artemis 4," which means, and I think this is true per some other reporting, that SLS itself could just get Orion into Leo, and they don't need an upper stage to do that. They could boost it and have Orion do the circularization burn to the low Earth orbit that they would need to do for Artemis 3, which then also means that, I don't know, has Orion ever been into Leo without SLS before? Yeah, it did the one time when they made that a whole thing. And then there's, I don't know if did this come up in the call, the Lauren Grush Bloomberg story about Starship taking Orion from low Earth orbit to low lunar orbit as a plan that is in the works. I don't know if that came up in Ignition or if it was just her reporting, but
I don't believe it did.
I mean, if that's also part of the
This
plan,
opens up
then
many.
you don't need the SLS for any of that.
Yeah.
It's 100%, Jake. That's my rating.
Well, if you do it underhanded, though, it's not good leadership.
Agree.
Oh.
Agree.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. The 5 out of 5 leadership was canceling EUS. That was the 5 out of 5 leadership right there. That's the
Okay,
EUS.
is this the second one?
Sure,
Side-
let's go into
side
it.
journey.
Well, those are together because we're all going to agree about that.
Yeah.
It stank.
Neither of these things could come soon enough, right?
Truth.
Yeah.
And the fact that this quickly into his tenure gives extra leadership points.
6 out of 5. Next,
6 out of
Jake.
5.
Next item.
No, but we gotta hear. We talked about the story, but we need to hear Lori's take on quality and feasibility of the new Artemis architecture. Right?
Oh,
New
she said-
SLS architecture.
She said feasible, and she called bullshit on your inclusion of the word quality in this.
Well, you're conflating terms, Artemis versus gateway to moon base.
Call it
Artemis,
the SLS architecture. If we're on that, talking on the.
and that's where I'm going to need to separate feasibility from schedule.
Love it.
I think it is feasible. I believe that adding Artemis 3 going into Leo is a sigh of relief to a lot of people. But it does, when you pull on a thread, as with so many of these things, it really opens up the trade space. And it's not clear, like you just raised, you need SLS then for that. Or is that more about giving pressure to the lander people, like who, having it be an actual competition? In my world, I was told SLS would be, and it was in law, flying to Leo by 2016.
Yeah.
So, all these discussions about, it's the law. Oh, yeah. And you know what? Orion's going to serve a space station. That's in the law, too. So, like it's a question of, by the time I left in 2013 and my exit interview with Space News, I said I thought SLS was behind at least a year or two. NASA put out a press release, and the head of Boeing program put out a statement saying they were ahead of schedule, and that was for SLS to launch in 2018. So it is hard for me to believe. If in fact we can do them on an annual cadence, what the hell have they been doing?
Yeah.
And was this just I totally understand. Block one, like that makes so much sense. And giving them a shorter deadline of which someone's going to remember it and hold them to it is important. But then you've got the landers, the feasibility of a moon base based on the current architecture, which isn't really different other than the very positive Gateway doesn't exist anymore, and we can maybe use some of what was developed there. I'm probably not going to put that as high.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot when you have 2.5 years left of an administration where you are in a highly polarized environment.
It's probably going to get more polarized in November, right?
Probably.
And it's almost an open presidential election a year from that.
Yeah. And so keeping the momentum is important. It's another reason I think cadence, or saying there'll be cadence, is great. Here, the disconnect for me is, and you guys have said this too, people can't help it. You're just like, but he's increased the cadence. Well, he's increased the hope for the cadence.
He's asked for higher cadence. Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
And even he says that you have to execute.
Yeah. I was thinking about what you said, Anthony, about this being a forcing function, which I do agree with. And there's a scenario where that plays out perfectly, right? Where it's he calls for a higher cadence, and then Artemis 3 rolls around, and Axiom is ready, and SpaceX is ready, and Blue Origin is ready, and Boeing isn't. And then it's that's the gift, because you can go, I asked for this, everyone else delivered, where are you? And then you have a lot of capital to go after that, the bad part of the program, right?
Yep.
But the risky part is that what if none of them are ready? And then it's this actually wasn't anyone's
what
problem,
are the chances that SLS that's gotten $30 billion and 15 years ahead isn't going to be? I mean, they say the parts are at the Cape. That shouldn't be the long pole.
Well,
I think that's the genius maneuver, is that your era of NASA, Lori, not your fault, but just when you were there, right? Maybe it is your fault. I don't know. You tell me. There was this unified front thing that has lasted up until now, where there was no distance between NASA and the contractor, or even the fixed price contractor in the commercial crew program. There was no distance between them, and therefore it was no one's responsibility to say whose fault it was. So NASA would say, well, you can ask the contractors because it's fixed price, we don't control it, and they would say, well, you should ask our customer because they're the ones in charge of PR, and you could just play PR chicken in the way that everyone's also been playing scheduled chicken. And they've broken from that, though.
Lies.
Everybody lies, but then they've broken from that, where Jared's point has been, NASA's got X amount of responsibility in this stuff, and we can be honest about our side of it. And his strategy is, I'm going to list out all the things that people have told me on their schedule. And I'm going to say, SLS, you've told me since the beginning that they could fly once a year. Go ahead and do it. Starship, you said you'll be ready next year. I'm gonna pencil you in for that. Okay. Blue Origin, you're doing all this stuff. Pencil you in for that next year too. You've all said this, so somebody go do it. And NASA has.
What will you do? I'll just play Jake in this. If and when they don't deliver, that's the question.
Point. But he's separating himself from that. He's separating NASA from that. He's saying, we're the customer. We're expecting it because you said it. He didn't say the schedule. They said the schedule. What I'm writing down is my plan for NASA is all the schedules you told me. Axiom, you're going to be ready for the spacesuit? I'll write it down.
For 20 years.
But there was no distance before, right? It was like Axiom's schedule is our schedule and Starship's schedule is our schedule. Now it's like NASA's expectations are this. You deliver on it, and that gives them space to say, well, they didn't deliver, so we get to go figure out a new plan.
I'm just going to say that it's not necessarily a panacea. OMB's strategy, when we got forced to do SLS, and we hadn't requested it in the 2011 budget, going to the 2012 budget, you know me, I'm like, cancel it again. They're behind. They're not doing just double down. I'm like Russ Voigt out there. And OMB said, no, we are going to give them exactly what they requested, exactly what we said, and we're going to do that every year. So when they aren't there in 2016, we can say, you failed. Well, you know what? That's not very satisfying. They got what they asked for and more. That's why I find it. One of the things I love that Jared is saying is $25 billion is enough to have a first-rate space program.
And a little slush fund. There's a little one big beautiful bill slush fund that he's got. So that helps.
But that really didn't work for us with OMB, and I think maybe because it was a longer period of time before they deliver, and also we did not have the leadership. That's why I give such high marks for leadership, because I really think even then you could have said, okay, then these are the milestones. And besides, the bill said to the greatest extent practicable, and as we've discussed, practicable means it is possible, and it wasn't. What they were saying wasn't. And that has been proven out. So we've got to prove it again. Okay. Happy to see it.
Yeah. I'm just, Anthony, I don't think we're apart on this. We're looking at it differently, right? Because it's like, I love the threat, right? And there was like a not even thinly veiled threat in this press conference, right? Where he was like, you need to deliver. And if we don't, what do you say? There's going to be some uncomfortable action if you don't meet your deadlines. And then he like looked at everyone in Congress. He's like, you all know what I'm talking about. Like that was like literally, that's like not even like a paraphrase. And so like, there's a threat on there. And the thing about threats is you have to be able to follow through, right? And if it's one contractor, great, cut it out, execute the program. But like, if it's all of them, you can't just cut them all out and restart Artemis in 2027 or 2028, right? Like, you can't. It's game over.
Which is why you need redundancy and competition. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
all right, so let me segue that, Jake, for you. Yeah, redundancy and competition. Let's segue. Let's use this as a little bridge between this program and the commercial space stations. Yesterday was this yesterday? 2 days ago. Tuesday?
I don't know what
2 days ago.
Their hearing was yesterday. The CLD Leo hearing.
That's right.
Right.
Axiom's making out like a fucking bandit in this whole thing because they're getting absolutely no pressure on their spacesuit. Every time it's brought up, it's very, very pushy, not pushy, I should say. And that's the only spot in the Artemis program where there has not been redundancy inserted. And I kind of get it because Jared Isaacman going out and saying, let's do another spacesuit contract would be him saying, let's get SpaceX a spacesuit contract. I'm the fucking guy who paid for it the first time and wore the damn thing out in space. So I kind of get that he doesn't want to go out and do that. But they're getting no pressure on the spacesuit front.
SpaceX made his suit for no cost and seemingly zero time. I mean,
but he's also the guy that was like openally saying I couldn't invest in SpaceX, and he bought it. He paid for the thing. Like, yeah. So I get that. But also, now they're saying, oh, well, you know what we'll do? We'll just buy AX-1, the module that they're planning for the space station. This whole plan seems like purchase AX-1 off of Axiom and then let everyone go be a commercial space station developer. The JSC mafia runs deep, Jake. Please give me your take.
It does. It really does. Yeah.
Yes.
That's an interesting thing to think about because it's just like, oh, well, Gateway gone. Like Johnson takes a hit. Why aren't they like screaming foul? And it's like, well, they're doing just fine.
They got a bunch of extra the ISS. They got an Axiom purchase order from
NASA
for AX-1.
And they got lunar Viper back. Yeah.
Viper's back on it. Yeah.
So the Leo CLD plan, is that the next thing?
Yeah, I just wanted to throw some shade at the Axiom space.
Yeah,
I think
so
that's
the
bullshit.
shade JSC, that's incredibly interesting and probably important. Again, we won't find out for a while, but this plan does not get a 5 or 100% in my view. And I think we will disagree on this. I'm with you. I know we've discussed this, and the market for microgravity combination from tourism to biopharma to silicon chips hasn't proven itself. To have the leader of NASA go so far out and say this market is not developed enough when he has not talked, because clearly, yes, you're getting the CLD partners lining up saying nice things about the overall plan. Again, back to this point of you can't say everything. There's still people now who feel they can't say anything. You don't want to cross Jared, obviously. Is incredibly just it shows a lack of, I think, a thoughtfulness of this whole plan. So if we are the nation's space program and human space flight is a core tenet, he keeps saying space station, presence in Leo is absolutely critical. This is so not going to get a leadership Okay, I don't know. 3 quality.
1. You could say.
3 out
1
of 5.
feasibility. Again, with the timing, I mean, George Whitesides asked a great question at yesterday's hearing of Joe Montalbano. Wait, let me understand this program. You are starting now to put out an RFI and then an RFP for a module that is supposed to attach to the station with all the station requirements. By the way, those are not small. The whole reason Axiom wasn't in the lead was because attaching to NASA's space station, the International Space Station, requires so much in the way of cost that these other simpler commercial LEO destinations don't. Now you're making them back up, have to attach to a space station, which you still say is going to deorbit in 2030, maybe 32. I don't think this is the most thoughtful part of the plan. And the markets for LEO commercial development, they've raised billions, literally, from private sector markets. And now you're turning on them and saying no. That does not bode well for partnerships that you want to have on the moon. And you think the markets for microgravity LEO are underdeveloped? How about those lunar commercial markets? Way, way less developed. So the success of commercial cargo and crew was we knew there were customers beyond NASA or even just government. And to come in so quickly and dismiss. I've been hearing about, low gravity markets for 40 years, longer than, is he 40?
Just barely, I think. Yeah.
And so I'm as frustrated
us.
as anyone at how slow it's been, but there's lots of reasons, and I'm sure people could tell him those reasons. And NASA's a big part of it. We've only had a couple hours of astronaut time because the space station is so onerous to operate. There's a lot of substantive reasons, and there's a lot of promise, and the costs need to come down. And I thought it was really interesting how much he hammered on the transportation costs still being so high. It is very true. And that's why we need more competition in LEO to drive this down. So I see economic sphere building out, but obviously he's got a president who has said, we got to land on the moon in my term. We also have to have these helicopters in Mars in my term. I mean, it's funny. Everything, imagine that is going to be done by the end of 2028. Imagine that. So this one's tough. This one should be evaluated and walked back. And I think a sign of a good leader is you're willing to walk things back. And I feel like we're already hearing words like at yesterday's hearing, like, well, the path could still be that, So we'll see, but lower marks on this one.
Jake, I think you're muted, by the way. You're trying to make comments, but it says guest has muted themselves, which, I mean, maybe you should be with your shitty space station takes. That'll just vamp over you since you muted yourself. I don't know. It says guest has muted themselves. I don't know why it says that, but you did. So there he's back.
Well, Anthony, your take on this last I recall was they weren't worth doing. We should go and LEO stuff and go beyond.
Yep. The best thing you can do for the LEO market is sink the ISS and let's see what happens. Like, I don't know. Jake's gone. He hates that take. I don't know. He was back. He didn't know he was back. I think you're right that the optics of just totally ripping into the economics of a LEO market, they went really aggressively to do that. And I was like, you probably didn't need to do that. You probably could have just said, we're not getting sufficient funding. Actually, let me back up a step and tell Jared what he should have done, which was my take this whole time. If you want to keep dunking on Bill Nelson, dunk harder on Bill Nelson and say, there was a geopolitical moment when you could have went and got a shitload of money for low Earth orbit ISS replacement stuff when your partner on the space station invaded an ally and we got into this big fight with them And you could have went and got $1 billion funded that way, because it's turns out geopolitics of Russia was good moments to get funding for low Earth orbit initiatives historically. There were 2 good years of that. It was 2008 and 2014 and Jesus Christ, was it 2022 or 3?
And 1957, but yeah.
Well, that too. It turns out. And the late 80s. The early 90s of the ISS. All of the good moments.
To dump on previous administrator over, but this may be, to your point about the JSC axiom, it seems to me that if there is a weakness with leadership, is, this has not been in the NASA environment for long. And NASA has been in the environment for long, and they're very good. They're excellent. And being able to convince him there's no markets, there's plenty of facts out there that could show that. They want their space station. They have never really bought into deorbiting it. So
it's more of a gambit to extend the ISS than it is to sink the commercial stations.
So susceptibility to maybe other JSC flyboy astronauts who think this is their terrain. They're smart, and they're just going to take bites. They're going to tell you what you want to hear for Moon. They clearly were willing to sacrifice Gateway, but you're seeing 2.5 years just like you are, and they're like, we can find our way.
This is good. That's an upgrade on my theory of this is good. This is because I was like, I agree about the commercial space station market, but let's do it in a way that solidifies the ISS as the place. Shit. All right.
Well, and it's
1 out of 5 across the board.
This is all wrapped up together, right? Because it's like you have, Isaacman has to spend a lot of political capital for the moon stuff. He's putting his chips on the table for that, right? And so you got, where do you capitulate? Yep. And this kind of makes sense in a like a multi-dimensional way. So it's like, commercial stations wasn't working, but we can't really cancel it because we don't have enough capital for that, political capital to do that, and we don't want to make JSC mad, and we don't want to make Ted Cruz mad, and so we're going to do this thing where we buy the Axiom module so they're happy. We'll punt this other thing down the road. We'll extend the ISS, and we'll we have a plan, but it's not really a plan, and then just please stop talking about it. Look at the moon, look at the moon, look at the moon, and then 2028 will come by and not much will have changed, and here we are, right? So that's your JSE Mafia take for sure, is that one right there.
But I think it's so short-sighted because you've undermined the very investors who were willing to take a bet on commercial space. And they were also able to talk about doing things that couldn't matter to everyday people. The thing that isn't on your list, I've got to give a shout out to Earth Sciences. If you felt sorry for anyone on the briefings, first it was poor Dana who had to brief the CLD thing, and then it was Nikki. She's talking about science, and she goes over Earth like, we're looking at how many solar arrays are going to come and hurt astronauts, and they are also clearly able to talk about disasters, non-climate change, but addressing, So this is fundamentally something that is in NASA's charter that the public continually does care about, and it's tied to our economy in bigger ways, certainly than a moon base in the next few years. And NASA's walking away. That's a pretty tough thing to do, but just by not discussing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a whole other show, I think, Lori, is like because this whole conversation is like inside the box of like human spaceflight, which is great. And there's, and that's always going to be like the flagship product of NASA, but like there's a whole bunch of other things they do, and not hearing a ton of that, like the planetary science side too, I feel like is not in a great shape, and I don't see a lot of really
sample
good
return,
signals from
never 3 words that Jared will say in a row.
So is Freedom next? Isn't that what we're calling it?
Nukes. Nukes to Mars. Let's do it.
SR1 Freedom. Oh gosh,
you were the one that shouted freedom earlier in the show, so you're pumped.
were a game, like seeing how these puzzles fit in. That's where a lot of the brilliance I love comes from. We started PPE with our famous tech program that everyone hated, and then they made it Gateway. And well, so it gets
She got notes.
another.
Oh, 100%. Wow.
Well, I mean, we built it. Mars helicopters, like, okay, 2028, probably not. But, Jared had said we will never again not send something to Mars in a window. Well, I was looking back. There's very few where we have missed. So I don't know what that critique is, other than I guess now.
Literally
which,
this one.
Again,
Right?
Bill Nelson.
Yeah.
But when I came in 2008 on transition team, Charles Alachi came and briefed Curiosity. It was supposed to launch in the 10 window. And he said, we're not going to make it. If you press us to do it, it will fail. We have found problems. And he needed 400 million more to make the 2012. And we said yes. And they made 2012. We did Perseverance in 14. We did, Mars community is very good at keeping to that, and JPL delivering. They're expensive, so pulling this off, that would be amazing. I'm not sure I give it 100 on feasibility, but I like its uniqueness, and it is. I think it's a very elegant solution to a lot of problems. And would be publicly supported if it's not, if they can really do it in that period of time.
Yeah. I like everything about it, although I find it weird to, like, there's so much like pragmatism with it. It's like repurpose the PPE so we don't waste that, do a thing with it. I've been talking about nukes this whole time. This is a great opportunity to put the nuke on there and do that. Like, there's like, oh yeah, all these things coming together. And then they're like, oh, and we're also going to, in this like slapdash, like MVP thing, we're going to just take on EDL and throw a few helicopters in there. It's like, what?
Exactly.
Why are you
just release them?
If they had just said, this is a nuclear tech demo, we're going to send it to Mars and bring it back and do all, like, I would have been like, that's awesome. Like, you don't need to do anything else to that. It's already cool,
This is a big leap to Bill Nelson and his little helicopter that he loves.
And it's already paid for. I don't know. It feels like that's what's going to derail it,
Yeah. It was fixed price and then doubled. So it'll probably double again.
Paid twice.
For some kind of fix.
Whatever Maxar is called now will need a lot more money to change
whatever
it.
Maxar is called. Jeez.
I am a weirdo in that I care so little about nuclear propulsion. Like I just don't I can't get up for it personally. I'm not like mad about it. It's fine, but I'm not I'm not at all down the rabbit hole of like this will solve all of our problems, because none of our problems in space history seem to be like the lack of nuclear propulsion. That's never been the thing that I'm like, God damn it, Constellation didn't work out because we didn't have nuclear propulsion. Like none of the things are what I would lay at the feet. But I mean, I do think it's, Jared leans into the things that NASA should be doing, and I would agree that fits in that category of like a thing that the investors, like the CLD investors, wouldn't be spending money on, is anything with the word nuclear in it. So I'm fine with that. You're sad about the helicopters, Jake, or you just think it's gonna?
I'm not sad about it. I just think it's a weird conflicts of requirements, and I feel like if this mission doesn't go forward. If it doesn't go forward or if it's delayed, it's not going to be because of the nuke part. It's going to be because they're like, oh yeah, we're doing planetary EDL and 3 helicopters, and like we're trying to get JPL on board, and they're obviously working through some things, and like that's like you could have increased your chance of success so much higher if you had not mentioned that part. I'll take the Mars helicopters. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Yeah,
why not just fly like Mars Telecom orbiter on it or something?
Yeah, there's other ideas, but I think I don't know. Is this the MSR peace offering? Oh, don't worry, JPL. Here's some.
Well, some of this you can see, and I have commented on it. Is PR value and flash, and that's not all bad. One of the things that NASA is good at, and I think we argue somewhat effectively, our brand is believing in doing things that may seem beyond your reach. I describe that differently than doing the near impossible, but but to me, it is in human nature, and I have part of my longtime support and belief in this stuff is that reason. But how the difficulty, if you step back, and the feasibility is low on so much of this, certainly within the time frame, is the backlash. And what does that do to NASA's brand over time? And then pragmatically to leadership of the other party and how they feel about it and how much grist for the mill we are giving the people who don't want to do this stuff. I just happened to look at the comments of the New York Times article. It was an excellent article that almost every response is, what are we doing this for? And we haven't connected. We're all in the bubble. We are in the bubble. So to me, one of the reasons I'm always interested in driving down costs and operational costs especially is because we want to do these things that maybe not everyone is interested in, but those things the public are investing in should have return. And new technology is a great return, an economic benefit from the potential of microgravity research is a return. Earth sciences is a return. A couple dudes walking on the moon, less so. We've all seen the Pew Research, bottom of what should be NASA's priorities.
This is the space version of it's the economy, stupid.
That doesn't matter today because we are excited, and that's why I wanted at the beginning of the show to really tee up the positive leadership vibe that Jared is exuding, that is just letting that wash over us for a few days, please, before we realize, you know what, it's a lot of risk. And, I see Jared playing chess when others have played checkers, and I love that. But 3D chess is what happens in a couple of years.
There are several members of Congress of the Republican Party that should be very thankful that Jared got the nomination again, because that dude he's a political shark to line all this shit up. Like, if he did, because there was all that reporting that, I'm just do politics if I didn't get that NASA job.
Such a dynamic public speaker, clear thinker, clear speaker. And I know the bar maybe isn't that high for recent NASA administrators, but just sometimes you just got to go with the wins. I think you said that, Anthony, a couple weeks ago.
That's why I was running to be NASA administrator in this administration. Absolutely, you could trip over the bar. This was this is the easiest job, and I would have never done as well as Jared Isaacman has done.
Yeah.
I mean it though. Like, if he did get involved in politics, man, that would have been crazy, because this seems like
he absolutely might. He absolutely might.
I mean, he still could, and that's like.
And doesn't he live in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I mean, he grew up in Jersey, so I'm back on the Jersey side. So he is an Eagles fan, so go Birds. As is Christina Cook, flying around the moon soon. Go Birds.
Did we get through your list, Jake?
No, I think we missed one. We did?
No,
I thought we missed one.
Yeah. No, got it all. Oh, with clips, fourth? I guess. Clips ramp up. Yeah.
Oh, lightning round. No comments, but numbers. Clips.
I'm a fan. Okay,
no words. Just leadership.
I mean, it doesn't take much.
One. Okay.
Doesn't
take much.
Okay. He said 21 by the end of next year. Let's do something more fun. How many will there be?
21 by the end of next year.
Landers before the end of 28, and 2 of them are going to be crewed. I'm going to say instead of 21, there'll be 10 and none crewed by the end of 28. But I will
that's a lot.
Make sure there's only been like 6.
Yeah, that's a lot. 10's a lot.
I was going to say it's not 10.
10's a lot. Holy shit. I don't even know if there's 10 moon landers.
NASA is supposed to be able to do the impossible. near impossible, sorry.
Yeah, 10 is impossible. 6 sounds near impossible to me.
By the end of 28, and 2 with crew. What you got?
2 years.
6.
2.5.
2.5 years. I'll go for. Are we counting successes or attempts?
No, this was just.
Yeah, then we're gonna go 21 for 21, Jake.
I think Flips has a 40% success rate, so I'm going to say it'll be
Depends how you
60%
score
by then.
I'm gonna say like 5 for 8. That's my number.
I'm saying 6 total. One of them is a HLS-sized lander, and
But no crew.
three are no crew for sure. 3 are successful.
So what happens, and a new administration comes in, say it's Democrat, you haven't landed on the moon, you said you would, you haven't gone to Mars with that window, you said you would,
This is it, man. Get the mission accomplished banner out. Who cares? We already canceled Gateway. That's what I'm saying. We already did it, Lori. We've already done it.
Harm reduction approach.
100%.
Yeah.
We've already done it. Victory. Also, was this the show where we discovered that Jim Bridenstine was his boat, the one with the W. Bush mission accomplished banner? That was the ship he was stationed on at the time. I don't think I think he flew the planes off of that. But that was so he could have been there for that event, which is just a really funny thing that somebody involved in that thing.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. You come in, the next transition team's there, and we've already canceled Gateway. The world is different than it would have been if we were in the same position and Gateway was still around.
If we've made other achievements, I don't think I can just toast to unless it were SLS being canceled without a replacement. So how did we not discuss SLS and what will replace it and who's going to land first, Blue or SpaceX, and when will that be?
Who cares? We've already canceled Gateway. I'm going to say it 300 times in the next year. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. That's all we got.
I was sort of ignoring. Yeah. I was ignoring. It wasn't real.
It's a lot of money though for something not real.
But we've already spent it. Yeah. But it's still worth it.
I don't think they spent a lot. I don't think they actually
spent a lot now.
Well, I think that Maxar and Northrop Grumman got their module money.
Oh, yes. Gateway. I meant Dragon XL.
All the other. It's Dragon XL. It's EUS. It's ML2. It's all that money. That was like we're freed of that.
Well, and plus just the architecture and
NRHO.
This is. I guess you guys have said it. I don't know why we can't. The obvious path here is to get out from under SLS Orion over the longer term. And that is worth a tremendous amount. They're
going to ship of Theseus. That's what I was saying. It's like you just swap out one part at a time. And then at the 10 years from now, we'll say, this is the space launch system. And it's just a Starship and a Dragon.
And how about the timing? 1 week before Artemis 2.
Yeah, definitely some coordination.
Artemis 2 has to go well for any of this.
That's true.
Correct.
So, all props because it's a tough thing to go out and put so much on this team. And I just really have loved how he's able to walk this line of NASA is an unbelievable agency. We are accomplishing great things. We can do it because we did it in Apollo. And so we're back. What is it?
Do it again.
Hashtag time to believe again.
Here's some donuts. Yeah. Go.
Oh, shit. Lori, what else? You want to point anyone that's listening to a thing that you're cooking up?
Oh, I just am here waiting for you to call and ask me to be on your show.
Frequently.
I'm really weaning myself off of social media. The X thing is just it's so hard for a liberal pro space person right now. I get such hate. And a lot of it is misogyny. A lot of it is, you ruined the space program. You little tough. But so yeah, you can find me whenever you call me, and I am on.
Okay, great.
I am writing the same musical I was last time I talked to you with who was my son at the time and is now a daughter. And
This is
she
the Cookie Mouse book.
Space Age.
Did we talk about that? Did we talk about the if you give a mouse a cookie version of the SLS story that we were going to do?
I think we
talked about this at one
have.
point. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's a book, Jake.
But
It's a
our
reference.
musical is called Space Age, and we're aiming for sort of Book of Mormon for NASA.
Oh shit. That's in our wheelhouse. We're coming to the opening.
It writes
When you're
itself
doing
these
press for
days.
that. Yep.
Yeah, Jake will break the embargo to come to the premiere.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. Well,
all right.
Until then, I guess we're seeing if people launch to the moon next week. It could have happened by the time we record this, Jake.
I'm going. Are you going?
Not right now, but
Oh,
Jake's
wow.
embargoed. We'll call you in from operations and checkout if you're still hanging out there.
Yeah, yeah. And I also loved Project Hail Mary.
I still got to go see
I'm
it.
going tonight. I'm going tonight.
Review next week on this show then, Jake.
All right.
Okay.
You're in for a treat.
All right, Lori, thanks for hanging out with us. Everybody else, we'll see you if hopefully people are flying to the moon. Bye.
Bye, everybody.